available now for the second part of the chapter, that is the last lesson. All right, so in the previous class, in the previous video, we have seen the character of little Franz, how he is a small child, carefree child, free spirited. He does not like to go to school. He wants to explore nature, yet he goes to school. Why was he afraid to go to school? He was afraid because he did not do his homework and he was late. While going to school, he saw there was a crowd in the town hall. He did not understand why, but he was wondering what could be the news now. All right, then we have seen the difference between normal days and that day. In the atmosphere of the school, in the normal days, it is very chaotic. There is commotion, which he thought he would take the advantage of to get into the classroom. But that day, the reality was exactly the opposite. It was as quiet as Sunday morning. Mr. Hamill was very kind and not at all rude or at all strict. Hamill was wearing his special dress, that is the beautiful green coat, frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap. And most importantly, the villagers were sitting at the last benches. And then Mr. Hamill announces the reason that it is the last lesson that he is about to deliver, because an order has come from Berlin that in the districts of Alsace and Lorraine, French will no longer be taught, German will be taught from the next day. So it is the suppression of their native tongue. Okay, here we had stopped in part 1. Now we shall begin with part 2. Now these words were transformative for little Franz. Okay, this is like a thunderclap. What's the meaning of thunderclap? Thunderclap means this is a very shocking statement, shock and shocking and sudden statement for him. Okay, and he realizes, this is the realization, that okay, this is why there was a crowd in the town hall, because in the town hall the order had been given, the Berlin order. All right, why is this statement, that this is his last French lesson, why is this statement transformative in nature? Because Franz suddenly sees that he cannot learn his lessons, and he suddenly feels sorry, okay, for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the river Saar. So, in the beginning, in the first part, we had seen that he was always more tempted to go to nature, explore the nature instead of going to school. Okay, he never regretted. But this moment, when he realized the brutal reality that his identity, linguistic identity, is being snatched away, he feels sorry for not learning French. Okay, he feels sorry that he would not be able to learn French anymore. Hence, this gives us our sub theme of the chapter, which is regret. Everybody is filled with regret for not learning the lessons when there was time. How we know that this is a transformation for Franz? He says that his books, which had been a nuisance before, the books had been very heavy for him to carry. Suddenly, those books become his old friends. Okay, and he does not want to part his ways from those with those books. And he feels sorry for Mr. Hamill also, that he was going away, he should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. So everything suddenly changed his of learning learning, perspective of the teacher, perspective of himself. Okay, hence this is transformative. And that is why he realizes that this is why Mr. Hamill was wearing his fine clothes. Okay, now we will see it is a reason. Okay, this is a very recurring question in the boards, that why were the old men sitting in the back of the room? Very important question. There is three reason. First, first reason is They were filled with regret for not learning French. See, because they were sorry they had not gone to school more. Second reason, they wanted to show their gratitude to Mr. Hamel. It was their way of thanking their master for his 40 years of faithful service. Okay, so Mr. Hamel had been a French teacher in this school for 40 long years, 4 decades. Okay, and the third reason was they were paying respect to the country that was no longer theirs. Okay, very important question. Please remember these points. Why were the villagers sitting at the back of the in the back of the classroom? First, they were sorry because they had not learned French more. Secondly, they wanted to say thanks or show their gratitude to Mr. Hamel for his 40 years of faithful service. And third, they wanted to show respect for the country that was no longer theirs. All right. So now, whatever Mr. Hamill was saying, the things were being delivered very patiently, and the things were being absorbed also very patiently. Okay, you will see in the subsequent lines, you will see that when Mr. Hamill asks France about the French participles, okay, and he fails to reply, Mr. Hamill does not scold. Mr. Hamill does not scold him. Instead, he blames. He blames people of Alsace for this situation, for this predicament. Very important line. This is the theme of procrastination. He says, I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is? Every day we have said to ourselves, Bah, I have plenty of time. Look at the echo of this statement, plenty of time. That is why I had said that plenty of time is a very important phrase here. I will learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. This is the current condition of the French people. The French people who do not know their language properly. They can speak, but they cannot read or write. Okay? Because that is the great trouble with Alsace. Alsace means the district. Okay? She, that is the people of Alsace, puts off learning, that is delay. Puts off learning means delays learning, that is procrastination. Okay, I'm so sorry for this. Yes, procrastination. Now, those fellows, that is the Prussian soldiers, okay, the German people, they will come and they will say that how do you call yourself a Frenchman if you can neither speak nor write your own language properly? So, he says that this is all because of us. Reproach means blame or scold. Okay, and Mr. Hamill blames everyone for this condition of Alsace, for this linguistic negligence that the citizens of Alsace and Lorraine have done. Okay, first he blames the parents because the parents were more interested in sending their children to the mills or the farms to earn money and not to school to learn language. Okay, second, he blames the students. Okay, students, because the students were more interested in bunking the classes, in missing out the classes, because they were not interested to study. And third, most importantly, he blames himself because he says that I have been to blame also. Why? Because whenever he felt like not teaching, he would send the children to water his flowers, because the school had his home as well. Okay, he used to say stay just in the um, upper floor. Okay, whenever he wanted to go fishing, he just declared a holiday. So when he had time, even he did not do his duty properly. Hence, we can definitely put a big question mark in the faithful service. So we can definitely put a big question mark in the faithful service that he had given for 40 years. Why question mark? Because had he been really faithful, he would not have declared a holiday when he did not want to teach the children. Had he been faithful, he would not simply tell the students to go to do the gardening work instead of learning the lessons, right? Hence, this is an ironical statement. This is a very important question for your boards. This is an ironical statement that he had been faithful. All right. Coming to the most important segment of the chapter, that is the importance of French language according to Mr. Hamel. Okay. Now, Mr. Hamel gives us the importance of the French language. Tells now you will find a very important politics that is playing inside Mr. Hamel's head. Why does he say this in this last class? Because from the next day he would not be able to impart any kind of knowledge to the children nor to the parents, right? So he wanted to give everything he had, not just the academic knowledge, but also a kind of patriotism inside the in the minds of these young children. Because if the young children, the small children, they realize the importance of their identity, their language, then they would be able to fight for the freedom that they are losing now. All right. Hence, he very successfully gives this dialogue. Very important. Okay. And remember, this question had been asked in 2026 boards. Okay, that is this March. He says, French language, it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest and the most logical. We must guard it among us and never forget. Because when people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. So, Mr. Hamel gives us, that is the people, the class there, the linguistic identity that they had never thought of, and now is the high time that they learn and they try to fight for this linguistic identity that they are losing. Okay, because he says that as long as we can hold fast to our mother tongue, there is no force that can imprison us. If we if we uphold our mother tongue, then we have the key to the prison. Okay, we can achieve the freedom. All right. Eventually, he goes on to give the grammar class. Okay, he teaches grammar. Please read the text. I'm not going through this in detail. He gives the grammar lessons, history, geography, all the subjects. And very important, that day he had been very patient and kind. Okay, and that is why even the children found it very easy to understand that day. So the change in the attitude of the in the approach had been same for both the parties, like that is the teacher and the student. Both of them, both the counterparts, were patient, kind, and ready to absorb everything that they could in the last lesson. All right. Now, see, this is what I was talking about. He had given everything with much more patience. That is why this is a very important line for your boards. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. He could give everything that day successfully. He had even given them new copies with small round hand, that is France and Alsace written all over, and it filled the air with patriotism. The class suddenly was filled with patriotic sentiments. Okay, the children, the parents, everyone were so engrossed in learning that day that even some insects flew in. Sorry, some beetles flew in. Okay, once some beetles flew in, and but nobody paid any attention to them. This is a very relatable thing. Suddenly, if you are having a class and monkeys come in, all of us turn into a monkey, right? Because we are more interested into the monkey that time. But here, their attention and concentration is so intense that they did not even notice that. Okay, now this is a very important line. The pigeons were cooing on the roof, and Franz, being a very being more mature than what he is actually, he thought to himself, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? Now, what does this mean? Is it possible to curb the natural instinct? What is the natural instinct of human beings in terms of language? That is the mother tongue. All right. Is it possible to curb the natural instinct? That is the. Is it possible to change the mother tongue? Is it possible to force us to speak in some other tongue? Okay. Just like how cooing or making sound is a very natural thing for the birds, okay, mother tongue is also a very natural thing for the human beings. So Franz is asking a rhetorical question, that will the Prussian soldiers be able to enforce the same law on the birds as well? Of course the answer is no, right? Then this shows the 40 years, how everything had changed, how the garden became all, the plants became trees, everything got worn out, but Mr. Hamill was there constant, trying. Mr. Hamill had tried to give the class everything that he could. He teaches them vowel as well, okay, history, phonetics, all these things he did. And here, you see, you could see the emotion, as you could see that he too was crying. That is the old man. Okay, old Hauser was also crying, and this is a very child. This is the perspective of the child. That when the old man was crying, it was emotional, and for the child, it was very funny to hear him, that we all wanted to laugh and cry. So this is a very innocent perspective given by the narrator, child narrator. Okay, and now he remembers it, the last lesson. Now is the last part of the chapter, that is the departing moment. Okay, the church clock struck 12, that is, it is showing the end of an era symbolically. The prayer song is being sung. The Prussian soldiers are returning from their drill. Okay, and what does Mr. Hamill do? He stands up, he tries to say something, my friends, I, I, and he could not say, because he is too emotional and sentimental to talk now. Something choked, and what does he do instead? Instead of talking, he writes in bold letters, Vive la France, that is, long live France, on the blackboard. And with gesture, he tells the students that the school is dismissed. Now, why is this such a significant phrase? Long live France. This is a very bold and courageous attempt made by Mr. Hamill on the last day, in the last moment. Why? Because imagine the Prussian soldiers are just outside the classroom. One can see from the window, right? The Prussian soldiers are drilling there, they are going back, they have all the weapons with them. But here inside the classroom, Mr. Hamill is being a rebel by writing in French, about French, that let long live France. So it is a very rebellious, bold attempt of Mr. Hamill, that he does not care what is happening outside. I will I will give everything till the last moment to instill the rebellious and patriotic sentiment into the lives of these French people of Alsace and Lorraine, so that they can fight for the freedom of their district, of their state. And hence he says, long live France. Okay, then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand, school is dismissed, you may go. And with this we come to the end of our chapter. I hope the lesson is clear to you all. please go through the text properly, go through the notes, take down the notes properly, read the phrases properly, plenty of time, uh, delays, puts of learning, all these are the important phrases. Read the text in a very detailed manner, because board's question paper, nowadays CBSE does not ask you direct questions, they will ask you indirect questions. All right, thank you students, see you in the next class, where we will discuss some analytical points from the same chapter. Thank you.